Hi, this is Neil Walters of neilsvideos.com, and we have another video on TownStar today. And this coming week is going to be a build for milk. So actually, let's start by looking at the rules or the meta for that build. And the way we do that is we go to Discord, of course, and look under the TownStar announcements. So here we are. We're going to get some kind of a ghost card if you get into the right placement. And this will go from, I think it's Tuesday the 29th to probably Saturday. It's a TBD, to be determined ghost card. Okay, so what you need, here's the specifications. So milk, the cash is actually going to go down, but the points are going to go up, right? So obviously you want to be building milk, okay? Milk barn now requires, and this is going up, so milk barns are going to cost a lot more to build. They're going to take 5 wood, 5 lumber, and 5 energy. The AT vehicles are like, the price of them per minute is going astronomical as well. So it's going to be $1,000 a minute. And instead of like 50,000 or 75, whatever, yeah, it costs 75 now, it's going to cost you 350,000 to build each ATV. Other notable changes, I didn't really worry about any of these. I think hopefully they're just setting things back kind of like the way they were. So the way I was looking at this when I first started, like, okay, I'm going to have cash to build things, right? Because you're going to build these ATVs and your milk barns, you're going to need cash. And the milk itself used to give you pretty good cash, but now the price for the milk has gone down. So my strategy was still to do kind of the sheep pen wool kind of rush at the beginning, get my sheep pens going, and then build my refinery and such, and then over time switch those to milk barns. And so I was able to actually practice that since Friday on the practice servers, and that's what I want to talk about in this video. So the first thing I did, I went to the ever so famous Dubstep Rod's TownStar playbook. I went to the tab of items, which are the products you can sell. I basically copied that into my own little spreadsheet here, another Google sheet. And I sorted by column B. It looks kind of like column C, but that number is actually in column B. I sorted by high to low. And then I went down the list asking myself, which one of these has no competition with milk? So obviously you don't want anything that uses the ranch stuff, okay? And then also what's the highest price thing you can do that? So, I mean, like maybe blue steel is a possibility. You could have a small corner of your board creating a blue steel, or maybe just steel and iron, that type of stuff. So that would be one possibility, because that's a pretty good priced product. But at the very beginning of the game, you're also going to need money to start building stuff a little cheaper, more cheaply. So I actually started with honey, because I figured, well, honey has absolutely nothing to do with milk. They're different items on the board on the town. They're different workers. They just don't hardly compete for anything. So I chose to do honey at first. And then later I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do pumpkins. So if you look on here, here's your pumpkin pies. And the only conflict they have, there I highlighted that pumpkin pie in red for you. The only conflict it has was actually the eggs. So the eggs will be competing for feed from the troughs, okay? But other than that, pumpkin pies are pretty separate. So let me just show you what goes into the pumpkin pie. So I'm going to go back to the TownStar playbook, and what we want to do is look up here, pumpkin pie. Click on this item cards. It'll jump to another page down here. I think it's called item cards page. It'll jump straight to pumpkin pie. And you can see it takes 6 pumpkins, 5 sugars, and 10 eggs. So, like I said, it doesn't really, I don't think, interfere with them. It doesn't use milk, thank goodness, since we're selling milk. It does use sugar, so that means we're going to have a few windmills to do sugar. We'll have to have a few ranchers to do together the sugar cane and the pumpkins. But I think that was a pretty good decision overall. And I'll show you, now I'll jump to my practice game and show you what I did. Okay, so these are some screenshots of some of the major points in my practice game. Pretty traditional start. I used these lakes ponds that were already here to build my first few sheep pens. And I used my NFT water towers to start building the pond where I wanted it over here. So I wanted my industrial complex in the corner, first of all, because I don't want my milk cows to be scared by the industrial stuff, right? They need to be a certain distance away from that. So I wanted everything industrial, like in a far corner. Okay. And then you'll see what I did next here. So then this is my industrial thing I got going, so I could start creating gas at first. And of course, the power plants are $250,000, so I didn't have quite enough cash yet to do that. So I put some windmills, like usually three, four, five windmills, and then I have my NFT for it's a small Tesla coil, and that provides 1 unit of energy. Plus, it creates batteries. So that alone is creating batteries. So that will power my refineries to get me started at first. And then now my goal was to build, I forget, 3 or 4 or 5 sheep pens here. Let's see what I did next. So then I built my first barn, but I forgot the rules, right? I forgot that the milk barn cost $100,000, 5 lumbers, and 5 batteries. So I don't think I should have built my barn that fast. And then that's when I read the rules. I realized, oh, they're not making as much money as they used to either. So it's like, duh me. I should have read the the rules on Discord, or the meta this week before I went any further. Okay. See if I can get comments on here. This is an NFT too, and also even my water pumps are NFTs. I'm kind of going NFT crazy lately. So that really gives me a speed jump on getting my industrial thing up. This is the Haunted East Wing, which gives crude oil to that refinery. So I don't need any pumps, any oil pumps. Okay. Now I say next time use wool storage NFT from the start. I forgot I had this dumb little. It's a I think one I won in some game. But anyway, it holds I think 20 wool, and you don't have to use your storehouse for that. So plus you can put it closer to your sheep, so they don't have to walk as far to deliver it. So I'm making myself notes, right? So next time when I do the competition, I'm going to do a few things differently, obviously. Okay. The next thing I did, so I guess I did a couple of barns, and then I actually put them to sleep. I figured, let me focus. I don't want them to waste my food, my feed right now. So I'd rather have my sheep getting the feed and make some money, and then later, like, I turn my milk barns back on. Okay, because I still want to get my power plants up, and I want to start building my honey next, so I can get some more money coming in. Okay, so now I've got a lot of sheep pens. One, two, three, four. Looks like 7. And now I'm starting my honey production over here. So I put okay, I have these 2 NFTs as well. One of them provides a nectar automatically, and the other one provides clay. So the clay is going to these 2 potteries, and then the bees they're getting their honey passively, basically, from that zone, whatever it was, 1, 2, 3, whatever it was, of the haunted stuff. Now, it occurred to me later, I could have done this a little different. And I'm still not sure I'm going to use, I think I'm still going to have to use honey the next time. But I could have put a pond here, and then I could have put 4 pottery plants around it. And then here, I could have 4 beehives around that. So that would double my honey production. Okay, so that's one possibility of something I might change. Well, the other possibility is I just go to pumpkin pie sooner and totally forget about honey, and I'll show you my calculations on that in just a few minutes. Well, actually, the reason you can't really jump straight to pumpkin pie is the bakery or cakery costs $1 million. So you need $1 million of city cash before you can do that. So these honey items are a lot cheaper when you don't have the cash at the beginning of the game. I usually make a note that says bedtime or something. I think this is the way my town was when I went to bed Friday. And then Saturday, I didn't spend a lot of time playing. But basically, I see here I have $10 million now the next morning. So basically, I guess my honey provided the money to get going. And now that I had $10 million, I immediately started building my cakery over here. And then my pumpkins are up around here. I have 4, I think, water towers total. So I'm using 2 of these water towers to provide the 10 water needed for pumpkins, plus they're getting 5 or 4 passively from the river over here. If you can get 2 rivers with a corner, that's where you want to put your pumpkins. So like I said down here, I was testing the pumpkin pie, and actually I think it worked out very well. And I said I might just double the honey production, but the pumpkin pie pays a lot more. I'll show you the spreadsheet in a minute. So I had to build 3 windmills here to make the sugar. And I think I have a sugar storage that hopefully I put on here somewhere. If not, the sugar is going into the storehouse. Oh, there's, I don't know, that's the wool storage. I put a storehouse here, and eventually I put another one over here, and I think eventually I actually put a storehouse in this area when I started doing the milk as well, so that they didn't have to deliver the milk quite as far. And then this is almost the way it is now. I'll show you a live video in just a second. But you can see I built a lot of logger houses, of course, over here, far away from everything. And right now, actually, I still only have two ATVs because the ATVs are going to cost you $1,000 a minute, which is 60,000 an hour, right? So you got to watch your money at first. But now that I have 14 million, I could have done that sooner. But again, more calculations coming in a spreadsheet in just a moment. And let's see what else. I did add one more beehive here. Not sure it made that much of a difference. Now I had to start moving things. I had to move these two beekeepers, or whatever they're called, over to the left so I could put some more milk barns in here. I'm building a couple more trowels now, and now I'm ready to put as many milk barns as I could fit on the board, basically, right? So now let's go to the live video. Okay, this is where I'm at right now. I'm actually ready to build a couple more milk barns down here by these ponds, but right now I'm kind of short on lumber for some reason. So every time you build stuff, you kind of run out of lumber, right? So I have two of the lumber mills creating lumber right now. You can see I have no wood anywhere available. So if I want to build something that needs wood, I have to stop my lumber mills temporarily. And basically, see this pattern here. This is, I think, a rare wheat stand. So it provides two, like, oh gosh, let me show you the picture. Okay, so again, from the TownStar playbook, you have this nice diagram how you basically can count out 3, 2, 1. That's how much passive wheat it gives you. So anything that's a 3 and a 2 is not going to need any extra wheat. I think right now I have one of my feed bills sitting outside in the one area, and so I still growing wheat, and the farmers are still creating wheat, and that means the ranchers have to deliver wheat to that one feed trowel. So if I can, I should try to get all my what do you call them, wheat mills, feed mills within this 3-2 range in order to optimize everything. Obviously, if you had an epic wheat stand, it would be a little bit easier. The other thing I considered is would it be worth buying a separate rare wheat stand, or even a cheaper one? And at first I thought maybe it would, but now that I see there's just not that much more space in my town, I don't think it would make that much difference. Now back to the live game. There were times where I saw like a lot of these feed trowels were all full. When I built these two down here, I started seeing these being a little less full, especially the one way up here. And so my idea too is the feed trowels also kind of need to be equidistant, because otherwise the ranchers tend to favor the ones that are easier to get to. So if I built a wheat trowel, I mean a food trowel like over here, they would probably just totally ignore it. I've seen that in past games that I've played. So you can see here, I'm counting from here. So this is a 3, a 2. And if I built another feed mill right here, it would only get 1 wheat. So I'm putting my feed trowels like 4 away. And so going this direction to the left, see there's a 3, 2, 1. So that's my 1 feed mill that is getting wheat, having to get wheat from the farm or from the silos. And then again, 4 for my trowel. And then I just built out above and below that some extra feed trowels. And right now, you see, I only have 2 ATVs still. That's my next goal, is to start building all ATVs now that I think I can afford it. And this again is my cakery that's making pumpkin pie. I wondered if it would be worth making 2 of these, but I don't think it's going to be needed. And again, it's possible I could even just get rid of my honey stuff and maybe build more milk in that area of the town. Since the last picture, I kind of compressed a few things down here. So I had to move the warehouse over. You want it kind of close to these guys. I did have a road here, and the beekeepers have to go get lumber for the, what is it, the beehives take lumber, I think, which is unfortunate. So they got to walk all the way over here to this guy to get the lumber. So now they're going to walk a little slower now that I built that lake there. So getting rid of that road is definitely going to slow them down a little bit. You see, I still have several open spaces, especially I don't know really what to do with these spaces up here. They could be maybe reworked a little, get rid of these houses, maybe put a pond in there, and maybe another milk barn or two might fit in there. But you don't want your barns too far away from the feed or the food either. Now let's look at the economics of the game. So right now you can see I have $14 million and it's still going up, which is a good thing. We talked about that in the jet fuel game. You got to watch your numbers there and make sure your income is not going down when you start building the things that make more points. So again, that's kind of the controversy of the game. You need this is what they call city cash in the left here to be able to have money to do the things you want to do. But to get in the placement for the winning of the prizes, you need to have more points, which is on this side over here. And by the way, as of yet, I have not looked at anybody else's videos. Probably as soon as I post this, I'm going to go look at some others and I might realize, oh, there's a much better way to do this. But these are my own thoughts at this point, okay? It'd be interesting to see if other people come up with the same concepts I have or if they have a totally different concept. Okay, so like I said, maybe steel would be another alternative to this, but steel is going to cost you, having mines and power and that sort of thing. So right now, this is my rate per hour according to the TownStar Performance Monitor. Let me just show you that again real quick. Upper left-hand corner, the production monitor, they call it. I'm still running another little script that gives me kind of similar numbers, but I haven't put the pumpkin pie and all in there. You have to kind of reconfigure the script for different games. I just haven't taken the time to do that, especially since it's a practice game. So over here, you can see my honey is right now is at 34 an hour, and my pumpkin pie, it's up to 4 now. That doesn't make sense. It was a lot bigger than that before. Why did it go down? That number totally affects my calculations that I'm about to show you. Anyway, I got those numbers earlier, and this is what the numbers were, that I was making 31 pumpkin pie per hour. So I hope I haven't done something to slow that down to 4. That doesn't make sense at all. So if I'm making 31 pumpkin pie per hour, each pumpkin pie is $49,750. That's expensive pie, isn't it? So that's 1.5 million per hour. And then my honey is a lot less. So even though I'm selling 25 of those per hour, they're 7,500 each. So that's only 187,000. So again, I think the honey is a good way to get started. So you can build your pumpkin pie factory, which is called a cakery, of course. But maybe now that once I get pumpkin pie going, I should probably just delete all my honey stuff. Okay, that's what I'm thinking about. Now, next question is how many ATVs can I afford? Basically, an ATV, all-terrain vehicle, is the fast version of the Rancher. And the Ranchers go slower, the ATVs go faster. But it costs a lot of money now to build the ATVs, and they're going to cost you $1,000 city cash per minute to run them. So here, well, if you just multiply 1,000 times 60, that's 60,000 an hour you'll need for each ATV. So right now, this is my current spend is 8,500 an hour, and I have 2 ATVs. So it's costing me 510,000 per hour of city cash. And then if I add 10 more ATVs, I could just add $10,000 a minute more. And then if I want to go for 15, add 15,000. So this is my estimate of what my spend rate is based on having these extra ATVs. So you can see here, even with 15 ATVs, I should be spending 1.4 million per hour. And as long as I'm making 1.5 million per hour in my pumpkin pie sales, then I'm good to go. But see, that's about the limit. Obviously I won't be able to have 20 ATVs. And then of course, I don't think my city or my town will actually hold probably more than 15 anyway. So that's that theory. I don't know what's wrong with this monitor. Maybe I accidentally hit reset before or something. But if I'm only making 4 pumpkin pies per hour, then that kind of blows the numbers I just shared with you. So that's important to know your numbers. So let's suppose I got rid of all this pottery stuff down here. Yes, I could put milk barns down here, but now we'd have a question is, do I have enough food for them, a feed? So I might eventually then have to create a lot more feed mills. And again, of course, I would need more farmers and ranchers. I just did a count. It looks like I have 22 ranchers right now. It looks like two of them are currently asleep. So they're all actually staying pretty busy. Of course, you're going to need one wood per milk barn every time it makes milk. So you're going to have enough loggers to handle that. And the more milk barns you build, the more loggers you'll probably need too, and the more forest perhaps. So I might be a little short on forest right now. I think, yeah, these five forests were doing pretty good originally, but once I think I put the milk barns around here, I think that's causing shade and slowing them down. So I think I could remodel some of the stuff up here and build some faster forests so that they're not delayed like that. Other than building right now, it'd be easy for me to build probably 3 to 5 more milk barns as is without changing a whole lot of stuff. Other than that, I'll have to think about if I want to squeeze more stuff in. But again, this is my practice game anyway, so I'm not overly concerned about it. But again, this week it was cool to do the practice game because I guess they turned on the meta in the practice servers early. I don't know if I think in the jet fuel, they didn't really do that ahead of time. So it's good that they did that. And I wish you all good luck in the competition this week. And this time I'm playing, by the way, also with what's it called? It's like the Miranda skins. This is the first time I ever bought any Miranda skins. I just did a video on that. It's posted on Sunday. And you can see that the 8, well, it doesn't really matter which ones I bought, but I show you how to buy them and how you have to buy them in different packs. I was able to get 8 out of 10. So that means my characters, if you want to call them that, my workers will be running 20% faster. And if you think about it, that's almost like a day's extra work within a 5 days competition. So I'm hoping that will move me up in the ranks quite a bit. The other thing I'm still always wondering if my FPS should be so slow. If you're playing on a faster machine than me, I'd like to know. My frames per second when the town is kind of like as full as this tends to be 8 or 9. And again, there's sort of an old trick. Let me just show you this. You can slide your city one way or the other. Yeah, even slow to do that. Okay, looks like that's the only as far as it wants to go that way. I think it depends where your town is and where your borders are. Like even now, that's as far as I can push it that way. Let's try the other direction. I used to do it to the right like this. Even that water there, see how the computer is having to draw that little water? That takes time. And then I roll my mouse arrow up like this. And see when you get it to where you just have some trees or something outside of your town, your FPS will go up maybe 1 or 2. So like before it was like 9.5, now it's, well, if I don't move my mouse, it's like 10.0, maybe 10.5. So I think your town will run just a wee bit faster if you do that. But see, now it dropped down to 8. I'm still trying to figure out how much difference that really makes in the game. If you have any opinions on that, please comment because I'd like to know. And if you get FPS like 15 or 20, I'd like to know what kind of machine you're using. This is actually a laptop that's a i9 chip, but it is still a laptop. I'm wondering if having a better gaming card on a desktop is what you really need to improve that. So please let me know your comments. And anyway, this is my preview of my town, my practice town for the upcoming milk competition. You learn a lot by doing a practice town if you have time for it. And of course, when the real competition comes, a lot of it depends on how much you do on Tuesday, which is always unfortunate. If you have work and meetings and you want to stay up till midnight or 1 or 2 in the morning to get your town ready to go to bed, that is the question. So have fun. See you later.